Oh, Christmas is a great time for stories, sharing stories together. And the story I'm going to share with you today is called The Mitten. The Mitten, which are like gloves. And this story comes from a place where it's very, very cold. Because it is in the winter, perhaps even here. Though we don't get much snow now, didn't get much last year. Perhaps this year will be different and it'll be proper cold, proper snowy, proper icy, as it should be at Christmas time. Well, in this story, it was very snowy and icy. And you need to wrap up warm if you live in a place like that. You need good boots, thick socks, warm jacket, a nice warm hat, and gloves or mittens. That's what you need if you want to go out in the snow. And Nicky wanted to play in the snow. He loved playing in the snow. It was the best thing ever. And he waited and waited and waited till the snow came, and then he wanted to go out. But this year, he hadn't got a pair of mittens. He had some before, but he'd lost them. So he went to his granny and said, "Granny, can I have some mittens for Christmas?" Now, she was a clever lady and good at knitting too. And she said, "Of course I'll knit some. What colour do you want? Red or blue or green or wonderful patterns?" "No," said Nicky, "I want white ones." "White," she said. "What do you want white ones?" "White ones to remind me of the snow." "But you said if you have white mittens, you could lose them in the snow." "I won't lose them," said Nicky. "I'll take proper care of them. Honest, I will." So Granny knitted him a pair of mittens, white mittens, and gave them to him on Christmas Day. The snow was lying all around, and he couldn't wait to go outside. So he got himself all dressed up. He had his boots on and nice warm trousers and socks and a warm jacket and a scarf and a hat. And of course, his new white mittens. "Be careful," said Granny. "I'll be looking out for you. Don't lose those mittens." "I won't," said Nicky. "I'll take good care of them." And he went out to play. And he played in the snow for hours. And he played in the woods, having so much fun. You could have hide and seek. So many games, so much fun out in the snow. But while he was having fun, while he was excited and playing, what happened? He lost one of his mittens. Somehow it had fallen off when he was making the snowman or something. I don't know when it happened. But he looked down, and there was his hand, and there was no mitten. "No," he said. "Oh, Grandma's going to be so mad with me. I've only had it on Christmas Day." So he hunted around, and he hunted around, and he hunted around. But could he find that white mitten? No, he couldn't. The white snow covered everything. So he went off sadly to look somewhere else. That mitten was lying there on the ground beside a bush. A few minutes later, a little mole came scullery through the snow. A cold mole with a cold nose and cold ears and cold little feet too. And it saw the mitten. That looks cozy and warm." So the mole squeezed inside. This is nice. I feel so warm and cozy. This will be my winter home. A little while later, along came a rabbit, hopping through the snow. Saw the mitten. The rabbit was feeling cold. Cold nose, cold ears. And he looked inside and saw the mole. "Move over, mole," he said. "I need to come in your nice, cozy den." Said the mole. "There's no room for you, rabbit. You're too big." And then rabbit stamped his long feet. Mole moved over, and rabbit climbed in. A little while later, little hedgehog was crawling through the snow. Hard for hedgehogs in the snow. They're small animals, and the feet get very cold, and the nose get very cold. And when it saw the mitten, it thought, "That's the place for me. warm and snug, just a perfect place on a winter's day. So it peeped inside and saw the rabbit. It said, "Rabbit, move over, let me into your nice warm den." "Ha!" said the rabbit, "there's no room here. It's full up, off you go." "Is that what you think?" said the hedgehog, and he showed his sharp prickles. When rabbit saw those prickles, he moved over and hedgehog crawled in. A while later, down flew an owl. Twit-woo, twit-woo, twit-woo. It had spotted the mitten on the ground and thought, that looks like a nice, cozy, warm nest for me. It's freezing outside. So it peered into the mitten and saw the hedgehog. "Move over, hedgehog," he said. "Make room for me." "Oh," said hedgehog, "there's no room in here. No room for one like you." "Are you sure?" said the owl, and he showed his sharp talons. Hedgehog took one look, moved over, and owl crawled in. A while later, along came Badger, snuffling through the snow with its sharp claws at the end of its legs. It saw the mitten. It was getting cold, it was getting freezing. "I need someone warm to stay, and that looks the place for me," he thought. So he peered inside and he saw the owl. "Move over, owl, make some room for me." "There's no room here," said the owl. "Are you sure?" said Badger, and he showed his sharp digging claws. Owl took one look, moved over, and let the badger crawl in. While later, along came Fox, running fast through the snow. He had to be careful. A red fox in the snow was easy to spot. But it spotted the mitten, and it thought, a nice, warm, cozy den, that's the place for me. So he looked inside, and he saw the badger. "Move over, Badger, make some room for me." "Huh," said Badger, "there's no room in here for the likes of you." "Are you sure?" said Fox, and he showed his sharp teeth. When Badger saw his teeth, he moved further in, and Fox squeezed in. A while later, along came a lumbering brown bear, smashing and crashing through the snow, looking for somewhere warm to stay. He saw the mitten. He looked inside and saw the fox. "Move over, Fox," he said. "I need someone warm to stay this winter. Make room for me." "You can't come in," said Fox. "There's no room." "Are you sure?" said the bear. And he showed his sharp claws. He showed his sharp teeth, and he roared a mighty roar. So moved over quick he did. He moved over so fast because he had to make room for the bear. And the bear squeezed himself into the mitten. A little while later, along came a little mouse, running through the snow with a cold nose, cold ears, cold feet, and a cold, cold tail. And he looked inside the mitten. He said, "Move over, bear. Make room for me. I need somewhere warm to stay." "There's no room," said the bear. But the mouse, being small, tiptoed in, crawled through the fur of the bear, and balanced on his head. And his tail tickled the bear's nose. And the bear tickled his nose. Achoo! And the bear gave a great sneeze, and the mitten shot up into the air, and out fell the animals, the fox and the badger and the owl and the mole and the hedgehog. They all fell out of the mitten and down in the snow. At that very moment, Nicky, hearing the sound of that sneeze, that roaring, snuffling sound, looked up and could see a white shape silhouetted against the blue sky. "My mitten," he said, "there it is." And he ran quickly there. And there it was, in the snow, his mitten. Though it looked a bit different, and not as he remembered it. It seemed somewhat longer. It seemed somewhat stretched, but it was his white mitten. So he picked it up, put it on his hand, and went back home. Grandma was waiting. "Now you've been playing all day," she said. "Have you got your mitten still?" "I have," said Nicky. "I've got this one," snugly on his hand, "and I've got this one, a great size, monster size mitten. It's that one. That's a special one for Christmas. It'll keep us all warm, however snowy and cold it gets. Keep warm and snug this Christmas."